Hello everyone, I'm Mary Alfie, and welcome to this episode of the Photo Retrospective. This is the series where I talk about railroad photos that I have taken. In this episode, I will be talking about photos I took in 2016. So let's get right into the first photo. Alright, so our first photo here is actually a nose shot of a P-42, and by what you can see in the background, this was actually taken in the Amtrak Auto Train Terminal in Lorton, Virginia. And, yeah, not much there. It's not much really to be seen there. So we're going to move on to the next photo. Alright, so our next photo is another shot of those same engines sitting there in the Lorton Terminal. You can see that a P-4831 there is leading the train. P-40s are still used now in the auto train, and possibly even 831, though I have not been keeping track of the engines recently. I used to be, but have not been recently. And so, yeah. They're waiting to pull the auto train down to Florida, which will be leaving, I think, in a couple hours. Yeah, this is about 2:30 p.m. Okay, so now we're inside of the terminal. This is a photo of some of the stuff that hangs on the ceiling inside the Lorton Terminal. Some piece of art. It's got a wheel inside. I don't exactly know it, but, you know, yeah. But it's cool to look at. Okay, let's go on to the next photo. And here's another shot of the Lorton Terminal. Bit more of a lower angle. You can see the whole terminal a bit better. And so, yeah, this is where you'd be waiting to board the auto train. But I think at this time, based on crowd, that this was probably pretty close to boarding, if not boarding had already started. Alright, now we've moved on. Still the same location, but back out on the platform. Here's actually a northbound CSX intermodal train. Passing the terminal. And you can see here in the foreground we have one of the Amtrak, the autoracks, most likely loaded with cars, ready to head down to Florida. And it's very interesting to see some CSX passing the terminal. That's not something you usually, it happens. Trains pass, but it's not something that I, at least myself, have seen photographed an awful lot. So it's good to see a photo of that. So our next photo here is actually the back of the auto train as it is leaving. And so this is the first cut, those first few auto racks they put on the train while it sits actually at the platform. And then you can still see off to the left there is the cut of cars to go on the back of the train and, head to Florida. And also in the background there you can see a bunch of school buses. Alrighty, now we're on to our next photo here. This is actually looking down to the maintenance bay in Lorton there. This is where they wash and do a little bit of maintenance to the engines of the fleet. And also they do repairs to the auto racks as well there. They also have a much bigger facility down in Sanford, but if they need to do a little bit of run repair, they can do it up here in Lorton. And as you can see, there's an auto rack sitting there, probably getting some sort of work done on it. And then here we have the sign at the terminal. Just talks a little bit about do you know about the auto train. And so let's go through what it says here. It says Amtrak has provided this service since 1983. And they took it over from the Auto Train Company around that time. They were a private company. They did not join any of Amtrak when it was founded. But later they filed for bankruptcy, and then Amtrak took over the trains. Another thing is that that auto train is actually the longest passenger train in the world at 3/4 of a mile long length, with 18 passenger cars and 33 auto racks and 2 engines. Now that's a very interesting one because that's not usually the constant, especially these days with COVID and stuff. The train is definitely usually a little bit shorter, but I guess at its peak it could be up to those amount of cars. But also that the train carries between 130 and 250,000 passengers per year with their automobiles, which is very, very good. There's a lot of people off the road, so it's better for the environment, and also they're, taking the train. It's good for Amtrak. And also it carries 650 passengers and 330 automobiles when the train is full. So let's move on to the next photo. And here's a slightly blurry, shaky photo of the train sitting there at the terminal. This was taken before all those other photos. Somehow they got out of order. And then, so there you can see the cars sitting there. Now we move on to another photo at the terminal. This is actually the signboard for the train to Florida. I find it very interesting that they need to tell you that, because there's no other trains that can leave from this terminal, but, they feel the need to say it's going to Sanford. But I guess it's for lack of confusion. And here's another photo of the auto racks there, ready for loading. You got the doors open and stuff. You can see in the foreground there, you can see the cart they used to carry motorcycles onto the train. And that's a nice little thing there. And you can see all the way in the background the platform with the Superliners parked there. Here's actually another photo of the crew getting prepared to board the engine and take it down to Florida. You can actually see behind the P-40 is actually a P-42, number 146. That's different to see a P-42 on there. They are not rare to see, but they're not as common as the P-40s. This crew actually only be going up to Florence, South Carolina, and then they'll do a crew change there. So, unfortunately, this crew will not be going to Florida. So let's go on to the next photo. Alrighty, so our next photo here is actually one of the Cape Cod Railroad Bridge down in Buzzards Bay. You can see it's in the up position. Based off the date, this is probably one of the later Cape Flyer trains of the season, because this is Labor Day weekend, I think, of 2016. So let's go on to the next photo. And I'm pretty sure it was a Cape Flyer day, but it was also a dinner train day. So you can see one of the Mass Coastal freight engines. At that point, we're still on the dinner train. Nowadays, you see the FL lines have taken that job. But you can see here it's in Buzzards Bay. The train, if I remember so, the train was not stopping. Well, it did stop, but it was actually just doing the backup move because of coming up from Falmouth and then turning around there in Buzzards Bay to head to Hyannis. So let's move on to the next photo. And here's that trailing engine on that day. It was a 2009, another Mass Coastal freight engine, and that's the end there. You can see some signage there as well on the side. That train will actually be heading for Hyannis, where it'll be stored, and probably maybe get some work or something. I don't know. Till the next time they need to run the dinner train. Okay, so now we've jumped before everything else we've seen so far. My photos are a little out of order here. And this is actually Memorial Day weekend of 2016. We're here at the Strasburg Railroad. This is a photo of engine number 90, which is performing the runaround maneuver at the station, getting prepared for another run down to Paradise. So let's move on to the next photo. Here's another photo of 90. This is before that last one. This is heading down the hill by the Red Caboose Motel, and nearing the yard where you have to travel through. This is a very interesting shot because you wouldn't always know it, but there is actually a little bit of a hill there, and it's just nice to see a little incline there and train coming. Here's another photo of 90 doing the runaround, but this time we're actually at the crossing by the engine shed, looking down the entire length of the train. It's a very nice back shot of it. 90 there. You can see it's just about to start, or if not, had already started backing up towards me taking the photo, and and if you're also there, you can see the J Tower. That is actually where the virtual railfan camera is. If anyone was ever curious about that, the day-to-day, you can check that out. And that appears to be our last photo for the day. This was all my photos from 2016. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys in the next video, which will most likely be another year. I don't know which one. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.